Hey everyone, welcome back to the next video in our tier list. Here we go with the healers and a few of the little support classes here on Heroes of the Storm. 10-year anniversary, let's go. So starting off, we have Whitemane. Now Whitemane is a very strong healer, but like many heroes in Heroes of the Storm, needs to be played very well. However, with that being said, I'm going to put her in the B tier for now. Safe start, we might move her later on. Moving on to Uther. I mentioned in my previous video, I don't do F tier spots. So he's going to go right into the B tier, or the D tier, excuse me. Uther is not good, okay? Now, he can be good if you want to get a stun. Maybe it was like a support healer where you're not going to be pumping out big heals. And I'm sure there's some people that are exceptionally good at Uther. But past that, if I have an Uther on my team, I'm crying inside a little bit. I'm sorry, Uther. I just don't think you're very good. But someone out there, please prove me wrong. Next up, we have Ariel. Ariel's kind of on par with Whitemane, where you need to make sure you're building up your crown, your energy, so that you can use it at the right times. I think she is easier to play than Whitemane, which is why I'll put her above that. But for now, I think that's where we're going to leave her. Mafurion is a fantastic healer. Going right into the A tier, you have your Entangling Roots, but on top of that, you have your Renew, and it's going to a Regrowth. It's going to heal over time at times. You have a little bit of burst. Your mana upkeep, if you build into Innervate, is pretty decent. So overall, Mafurion's a very strong healer pick. I would say A tier there. Ana is another one that, unfortunately, I don't think is very good in Heroes of the Storm. Of course, talking about Overwatch, it's a whole different thing. But here in Heroes of the Storm, not as good in my personal opinion. Because of that, we're going to drop her into the C tier. Now, moving on, we have Rhaegar. Rhaegar is another really good healer, and you can also build him more for damage. So he's one of those really big utility healers. And because of that, we're going to throw him into the A tier as well. Moving on, we have Lely. Lely's a tricky one for me because I really enjoy playing Lely, and I think that she can be a strong healer as she builds. But unlike other healers where you can kind of build your healing and maybe a little bit of your damage or CC at the same time, Lely almost feels like you have to build her either one way or the other. And there's not really a good in-between. Because of that, I'm going to put her above Ana into the C tier. I really do like Lely, but as far as the strength of some healers go, I don't think she's as strong. Charism is another one that's interesting because he can deal quite a bit of damage, like 7-sided strike, even if you pick that as your ultimate. Or you have your ultimate that can potentially save, your teammate, which I think it can be a better pick. It's situational for sure. He's tricky. For now, we're going to go ahead and place him below Lely, though, in the C tier. Moving on, we have Lieutenant Morales. Now, she is very one-sided. However, if you understand that and that's your mentality going in, you can pump out and do amazing heals. I used to think she wasn't very good in ARAM, but recently I've been getting her a couple of times, and she's very strong, especially if you know how to avoid the enemy team. Your goal is not to do damage. You might throw a displacement grenade here or there to catch someone off guard or to get a killing blow, but ultimately, you're just going to be using that Q and keeping your team up. Because of that, she's a very good healer. Definitely A tier. Alexstrasza. She's another one that's very strong, and I think she's kind of on par with Ariel and Whitemane. Like, you have to make sure that you have people inside of your healing circles, otherwise you're not going to do anything. However, going into dragon form and stuff like that, you still have a great chance there to throw out some heals. Next up, we have Deckard Cain. He's going to shoot up to the S tier. Now, hear me out. He does take some time to build, but when you get your big pots and they also go ahead and rejuvenate in the same spot, you just have pots all over to heal your team. Not to mention, the big pots do heal a lot. So Deckard's really strong. Plus, you can do your Breeding Ultimate, Stay a While and Listen, or you can go with the Tornadoes, giving you great displacement towards the enemy team. Not to mention, you can build up your root a little bit, really catch, if you go out, you pop your root and your team dives in, it's hard for them to beat that. So I think Deckard is an S tier healer in this case here. Moving on to Anduin. Anduin is also S tier. Anduin is once again not one of those ones that's going to do a crazy amount of damage, but his ability to not die on top of allowing your team to heal, phenomenal. And his ultimates are very situational, but because of that, it's actually very strong. If you have a team, enemy team that you're going up against, they don't have a lot of displacement, don't have a lot of CC, you can use your healing ultimate, and it's phenomenal. On the other hand, if you do have a team that can just pop you right out of that ultimate, you have a stun, which is always good in any situation. So Anduin's a very strong healer. Moving on, we have Stukov, and he's also going to join the S tier ranks. Stukov is a very annoying hero to play against, but he's also really good to play. You're able to spread your healing orbs very quickly, and if you build that up, you do a great job. On top of that, you have kind of a suffocation with your grasp, with your E ability, which gets very annoying if built properly. On top of that, he has an ultimate that can kind of save himself. He can throw you back or swipe all of your team back. So because of that, I'd say he's really hard to kill, and therefore he's able to have a lot more uptime. Not to mention, because he doesn't have to target you directly for any of his heals, really, all he has to do is make sure that he's close enough to spread those orbs. Moving on, we have Brightwing. Brightwing's extremely fun, and another one that I'm tempted to put into S tier. Ooh. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. She could be an A tier. But right now I think S tier is really good for Brightwing, as long as you're making sure you're with your team. But because you have like a polymorph for different things like that, you have a lot of opportunity to disrupt the enemy team, to cancel ultimate abilities and things like that, allowing you to provide a lot more support. Moving on, we have Lucio. Lucio is going to join the crew in the C tier. Although, right, you just have to pop your W and have your healing up. His healing isn't as strong, and it feels like he is such a situational hero that the output or the pro of playing him goes down. Moving on to our last healer pick here, we have Tyrande. I think that's how you say it. Tyrande is going to join Uther on the D tier. She just doesn't provide heals. If you're looking for someone that has a decent amount of stun with, like, you know, your lunar abilities, then she's going to do pretty decent. But if you're looking for someone that can actively upkeep and heal your team, this is not the healer pick for you. Can she do it? Yes. But it's a lot more difficult than, say, you're playing Anduin. You're going to have a lot harder time keeping that team up. Now, if you build your W and you start launching owls at the enemy team, that's extremely fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't play her, but just understand that she's not going to be the healer that's just going to sit and pump heals. So moving on to our support. These ones kind of have a bit of a mix. You're kind of looking at assassins, kind of like a shield, kind of like a bruiser. But first off, we have Abther. Abther can be built for heals, or he can be built for damage. He's a hat character, essentially, where he's going to hop on someone on the team and help them out. Now, I have a friend that is very good at Abther. And because of that, I know the potential of a good Abther, and I'm going to actually put Abther into the A tier. I don't think Abther is quite S tier because of how difficult he is, but if you have a really good Abther, it is hard to beat. They can be destroying you in the siege game. They can be destroying you in the hero damage game. It all depends. And if their team is already good, the Abther support coming in, magnificent. That brings us to Medivh. Medivh is also really good. I'm going to put Medivh in the B tier, but with his ability to shield, his portals to help his team get out of situations, and his ability to kind of turn, you know, he's a druid, so turn into a bird and fly around the map and kind of scope things out, makes him a very, very strong pick. Moving on, we have Zarya. Zarya is another one that I wish was better, but is going to join her other Overwatch buddies on the C tier. Now, Zarya can be strong, especially if people are hitting you when you have your orbs up, much similar to how you actually would play her in Overwatch. But the reliability from Zarya is just not the same as some of the other characters in this game. That leads us to our final character, the Lost Vikings. They are moving into the D tier. They are fun. I've actually played the Lost Vikings a decent amount. Not too much, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I think they have to go D tier. They're just so difficult to play. If done well, they can destroy your team, specifically in siege damage. However, they can also be a little bit of a hard character to work with as a teammate, because they could be in all three lanes at once, but then one's being controlled, what's going on there. So you have to be very good if you are playing the Lost Vikings in order to capitalize and help your team out. However, the siege damage potential from them is very strong, but not enough that I want to move them out of the D tier. So this concludes my 10th year anniversary tier list. If you haven't checked out the other videos, you can go check them out here and here. I've had a lot of fun making these and jumping back into Heroes of the Storm. Expect to see me streaming it and all of that, and just hanging out with you guys in the Nexus.